In this video, I'm going to explain and introduce the Read with Dot series. Now, the complete series is available in print on Amazon.com. The reason it's a little expensive is because everything uses color. So these are color pages. Now, all the books are available in print, but for the most part, unless there's a reason that you need to have the small individual books, because little hands can hold them better. Rather than spending about $95 on individual books, you can get all the same content in a slightly larger book, and that's for about $45. Now, let's have a look here. Here you can see all this. This is all these books, 1 through 9, are in the Read with Dot Complete Series book. There it is. Now, I'm going to go through these and introduce what's in the books, the content. I wrote all this, and I'm going to explain how you can look at it digitally online. Now, here we are at the reading area of the pink right page, and I'm just going to click on this right here. And pardon me, we've got to do our loading. Because right now, everyone's going slow on the internet, and this is on the internet. If you click on, in this area, you go to here, read, we're looking, dot, starting phonics. I always put first, and there's dot. Each of these is going to list the books. You're all available online. And here's a table of contents covered with phonics. I'm going to go through this. And here are the books. All these are available as a Google Drive document and as simple HTML. So if the device that you're using doesn't work, go for it. All these are here. Now, if you wonder what the colors of the words are going to look like, there's a little snippet with instructions of the colors right here in the little viewable summary. And it's got all the books right there, 1 through 9, and then, of course, read about. This is the introduction from the collection, the anthology, the complete series book. I'm going to go to starting phonics here. Oh, and we need to reload my page because everybody's on the internet right now. And here's our table of contents. Now, International Phonetic Alphabet is first. This is for reference, but I'm going to go through this just so you know. If you're an English teacher, I'm zooming in, by the way, with my control my mouse wheel. You can use this to zoom in on any device. You can use this on a phone and use individual words or any material as flashcards for a classroom or tutoring an individual. So it's very, very useful. The reason I've designed everything the way it is it's supposed to be useful for teaching. And we're talking, native speakers, and we're talking, young and old. We're talking ESL students. It's all the same content. Now, IPA, this is not important, but humor me. These are the sounds. These are the letters for the sounds, International Phonetic Alphabet. And I have this here because this is an easy way to study it. If you need to review this, here it is. A, I, O, U, A, E, O, U. A, I, O, U, ow, oi. Looking at them in this structure makes it easier to remember them. This is it's like a really fast sound, which really technically could be any vowel as long as it's fast. But usually they say it's supposed to be like an sound, but it could be anything. This is an upside down V, but it means This is a glottal stop, like stop it. Like that thing I did at the end of the word is that. That's what that means, the glottal stop. These all say if you ever see, excuse me, not these, but if you see these, then they say b, d, g. They're related. People learning letters, it's good to know that. This is a CH sound, ch. This is a D, J, or like a J, j. That's that sound. And yes, that is a number 3, but it goes below the line, and you can pronounce it like a letter, and it says zh. There it is. S, f, sh, th. Beginners learning the sounds, especially if they're from another language, it's nice to know these by comparison. And even beginning English students, a lot of these letters, these 4 letters here especially, they were almost in the English alphabet. So, the more you know. They're related. Those are liquid consonants. Y, r, w. J actually makes a Y sound in many Romance languages. In English, we use the J for something else and then use the Y to replace it because we like to be weird, I guess. The HW is how you'll see the WH words pronounced because it's not what, where, why, how. It's what, where, why, how. Or I say it is how. It's who, W-H-O. What, where, why, who. A lot of people will this is a problem. Actually, the WHs is a thing, if I can get on my soapbox here for a minute. The WH words don't fall into that normal teaching thing where they say it's what, where, why, when, and then who. Because WH is crazy. When you're teaching it, it all says wh, and then we get lazy, and that's okay. Now you don't have to think about it. You don't want students wondering, how am I supposed to remember all this? No, you don't. It's WH should be wh, what, where, why, who. And if you teach it correctly, then with time they'll figure it out. What, where, why, who. That's lazy. This is Greek. This is an ed. Like I say, it was almost in English. This is a 3, and it makes the j sound. This actually has an ascender and a descender. It goes. It's like the F at the top and then a hook at the bottom, or however you see it. And that actually, that's another thing. Okay, vowels. IP. This is for reference. This is not important to look at. This is just for reference. I rarely teach it. Maybe go over it, but if you need it, it's there. But it's not in the books. This is only here on the website, I do believe. This is in the books. And here we got, stuff from IPA. And this is That's actually an upsilon from Greek. That's the sound in Ubuntu, the operating system, Ubuntu. It's that sound there. And, A-E-I-O-U, or A-E-I-O-U, or U, that makes a Y sound, IPA. If you're studying, if you're interested, don't worry if you're not. I always teach long and short vowels. Just the letters, but the long vowels say their name. But I didn't always do it. I didn't emphasize long A. I just A-E. And don't add all the words and keep the teaching simple. A-E, as we're talking. If it has an E, it's going to say its name. And rather than teaching the letter and then another letter and then a silent E, I just say A-E. Oh, and by the way, you can add a letter. The same thing. And now you've taught one thing, and the student knows 5 different sounds. Stone soup. Always stone soup. Oh, and sometimes you'll see these letters and they can say A. There won't be a GH for E, but these also will say E. And then these will all say I. I know, E-I-G-H. English is crazy. But, they can say. And then this can say, all this can say O, and all this can say oo. And, but you get the idea. But the A-E, adding the E, that's the big thing. That's the big thing. There, now you taught it. Move on. This is just an introduction. These are the R sounds. Hard, I call it R. Just because I had to call it something. These are at the back of the throat. Ow. This is aw, and this is ow. And there might be more letters, but these are the main ones. You get the idea. Like could, should. Here, oi. Okay, we saw it. Moving on. This is where the focus needs to be. This is where you need to focus. Now, this connects here with the writing curriculum. You're going to want to move with that. So you got to be doing the writing curriculum, which is coming next in the next video. You got to be doing the writing curriculum while you're doing this, because once you get to this, once you're done with this, we're going to connect it and put it all together here with this, the 24-line phonics, right? I mean, you will see these words similar in a not all of them, but something similar in a writing curriculum. Here we are. We've got their words: mat, met, mit, mot, mut, mate, meet, might, mote, mute, moot. Now, why not IGH? Well, a mite is a little tiny bug, and the goal is to teach long and short vowels. So we're doing stone soup here. We're not teaching vocabulary. We're teaching the sounds and putting them together. And we're not going to teach short A for 6 weeks and short E for 6 weeks. We're not going to do that. We're going to teach, rather than taking 10 days and teaching a different sound each day, we're going to teach all 10 letters, all 10 days. Overview, contrast, and repeat. Very important. There's a philosophy about this. You can't teach short A and short E the same day for the kids. They won't learn. If your goal is to pretend for the camera or for the parents show who don't know what you're really doing all week long, if you want it to look like, pretend progress, then yeah, teach one sound all day and don't teach them to know the difference, and it looks good on camera. But if you want them to understand, you've got to contrast and repeat every day. This is very important for learning. We need overview, we need landscape, repetition, preview, teach, review, repetition. Absolutely important. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. Okay, we're slowly introducing other letters, but again, it's A, E, I, O, U, U. So, we're just get them used to seeing it. Read these every day, 30 minutes, 4 days a week. Just over 2 months, they'll get it. Oh, here's an IGH. Okay, use an EA. Okay, that's E. Get them used to it. We don't have the extra word here. Same thing, you don't have an extra word. All these are real words. May not be normal, but this makes it so that you can use translation tools in the web browser or in the app, whatever you're viewing this on, and you can translate it or ask, look up the pronunciation. So all these are real words in this section. Go through this and you get the idea. The purpose is, again, these are all real words, and the idea is that they'll get some familiarity. Now we've got these extra sounds, and put, because it's very related. If we've got a P and a T, put words. Here's put, Y to double T. We'll look at that later. But again, we've got these little extra word for stone soup. These 10 words are not the only plants in the jungle. There's going to be something else out there. And now the student's ready for that because we're doing stone soup. We're just going to keep it simple, but we can always add more. We're doing simple, we can always add more. Oh yeah, you don't say the G. Don't make a big deal of it. It's an N sound. Move on. Why? English is crazy. Just say it. We're doing vowels here. The G isn't pink, so don't worry about it. All right. Here's an aw. It's related to T. And real words only. There's not a sot or sut. So I did sought, soot, because they're similar. Since we're at the end, it works. Don't emphasize these words too much, though. But once the student can read all these words correctly and drill them, what's this word? What's that one? What's this one? What's that one? Do one section at a time and then drill the words randomly, say it correctly. One section at a time, do the words randomly. Once the student can get all those correct, then you're ready to move on. This is a quick review. This is instructional, not teaching, but this explains why this is tapping and this is taping. Because that E, that silent E, became this I. And so the I is still working like the silent E to make that long. That's kind of nice to know. Yeah, that's it. That's all you're teaching. Don't make a big deal out of this. You'll see it. It's in the book, but that's nice. If the student doesn't get it, move on. More words section. Spend a little time, but we're teaching sounds. We're not teaching vocabulary. So they should know how to look at the word and get it. They should be able to say all the words, but if they can't quite say all of them, it's good enough. They need to know what the sounds make. Hey, what does this sound make in these words? And it says, good, they've got it, that's correct. What does this sound say? What do these, the OU or OO say in these words? It says, ooh, they've got it correct, move on. But you should read these words, all these words, every day for 4 days a week, maybe a week or two. And then the student should be able to get it. Now, here we've got bow, bow, sow, so. Yup, it's good to compare. It's good to show them and tell them, warn them now. And here we've got do, blue, blue, hue, hue. Point it out. And, now, no, new, new. Here, new. Point it out. Yup, English does it. There it is. So they're not surprised by it later. Now, you might see this here. If I zoom out, that might go away. Yeah. So we'll see if I can zoom out far enough. Yeah. So sometimes you'll see the style change a little bit depending on how much you zoom in. But remember, though, each one of these sections, OUGH, it's good to go through that and know what that is. Also, these are good. It doesn't cover everything, covers a lot. Remember, though, when you're doing styles with these sections, if your web browser doesn't display this correctly, if it looks kind of messed up because you're using an Apple instead of Firefox or Chrome, then just click on the simple HTML version. You can download, save it offline, print it, sell it. Well, be careful with selling it, but pretty much royalty-free is how I roll. Feel free to use it in your business without giving me any money and stuff, but you cannot use the Pinkwright brand and sell it as if you're doing my brand. I protect the trademark. But all this content's available. I'm all about sharing. Google Doc on Drive is very convenient. You can save these. If I don't know if I update them, it'll update your drive or not. Look at these quickly. Maybe just ignore them. but it's nice to know that these show up. You know, why CK makes a sound? Well, the other stops, these are called stops. These, they stop in the phonetic, you know, they're the stop in using beatbox, which I always say English uses beatbox. So C and K both make the same sound together. We're going to do both. And I don't know if that makes sense, but these are double letters rather than having single letters. This has a double letter. This doesn't have double letters, but you know, it's just nice to know. Maybe don't make a big deal of it. That's a phonetic alphabet. It's why it's bold. Don't make a big deal out of that. Breeze over it. It's just for reference if it's ever interesting. These are not real words. These, we're dealing with important sounds, and we're dealing with the concept of you know, combining building blocks, putting pieces of pipe together, so to speak. And this, you're supposed to read it once and be done with it. Now, if someone has accent problems, reading it multiple times could help. Slight contrast and repeat. Just say it. Gang, ging, gong, gung, gank, gink, gonk, gunk. Hang, hing, hong, hung, hank, hink, honk, hunk. Just read through all of them. These are very important sounds I know how to say. Q, U is a thing. Quang, quing, quang, 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 quing, quang, quang. Some of them are real words. It doesn't matter. Brookrah, the R combinations are important. The L combinations are a thing. They're important. Here's some other S combinations. They're important. Read through it once. And by going through it, it'll help get that idea in the student's mind that phonics combine to make sounds. And it just going through it will teach that. Again, very simple stone soup. No explanation and trying to imagine something you don't know. Just do it and you'll know it. So these are other rules. Again, we're not teaching vocabulary. We're teaching sounds. So, you know, read these through with the student every day until they can kind of get it sort of correct. And the question, though, of whether it's time to move on, what does Ange say? And they're going to look over here, maybe recognize some words, and they'll say, or what does ANGE say? Excuse me. Well, it says Ange. Well, what does ASTE say in these words? Aced. Excuse me, pardon my French. And, you know, go on, you know, explain. CI or CECICY, GEGIGY, they're both soft. And here we go. If it has an EI or Y, it's going to say S, not a K. If it has an EI or Y after, it's going to sound like a J, not a G. And here we go. All right, that's it. And just read it. Be simple like that. Okay, read these, SMA. They'll see it. Don't say, this is an SM. And SM together make a SMA. It's kind of a thing. Don't do that. Just read the words. They'll see it. SWA, if they get it wrong, they'll read it. They already saw this from above. QU is good to practice. Okay. You know, bull, cold, old, toll, soul. That's a thing. You know, don't worry about the vocabulary sounds. Just, can they get the sound right? Help them. Now, if they say hissle, say, no, it's whistle. Whistle. Okay, you're done. Move on. Read these. The goal is not to learn the word conscious, precious, and gracious. Goal is to learn that CIOUS says shus. Politician, I wish we could skip that word altogether and just focus on musician, but actually we're teaching that CIAN says shen. This says shun. Something we wish we could do to those. This also says shun, the same thing. SSION. SION says jun, which thanks to Marvel Comics, most of us should know that word, even at a young age. Here they are. SHCH, TCH, TG. We got them. Here we are. QUE can say k. That's a click, technique, peak, opaque, torque. It's good to know. EO can be crazy. EU is like UE, but I wanted to put it here. I didn't want to do too much mental constipation earlier on. Yeah, these can be silent. You saw these before, right? Okay, good. Say it. You know, it's a thing. Yeah, it's good to know these. And again, you're not teaching vocabulary. We're not going to expect, children to be able to say, pneuma, pneumonic, pneumonia, pneumatic, pneumatology, and I got these mixed up. We're not going to expect that. But later on in science class, when it comes time for the science spelling test and they know that the flying dinosaurs start with a PT instead of a T, because that makes a T sound, a silent P, right, with the PN and the PS, pterodactyl and pteranodon, it's good to know. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had that before. CH can say KY because it's Greek. Again, the P and the PS and the PT are also Greek, in case you didn't know. I studied Greek in college. So these aren't so important, but there they are. TH, okay, these are the phonetic alphabet, and, voiceless voice. If I zoomed out, this would be on the same line. Who cares? If you didn't notice, more power to you. So there they are. These might not be all the words, but there's most of them. And if a student knows these words, they'll be able to say it. So read through them, review them if need be. There they are. Odd spellings, maybe read them once again, maybe. Try, it's good to know they're here. As needed, come through and look at this. This is for reference. This is like you're going through, why is this? Why does it do that? Here it is. Now, chaos is not in this word, but or not in this word list, I don't believe. But I think that you're supposed to kind of figure. Well, no, actually, the reason chaos isn't in here is because it's up here. Chaos. It actually isn't this crazy sounding word because it's that hard CH. Don't say choice. Don't be one of those people. So, odd words. Here's some hors d'oeuvres. This is the snack, hors d'oeuvres. That's how it's spelled. Good to know. Island. Yup, you remember this. What? Why isn't it what? A colonel. Well, interesting. The kernel is in the core. Now, British say niche. Americans say niche. But sorry, it should be Nike or Nike. But my issue with this is, we're talking French-ish here, and that's probably, I think, the reason the British don't pronounce their R's. It's a caw. It's so far away. I think they get that from the French influence when the British crown claimed much of France. And so I look at this and I see niche, and I'm just thinking French. And I do believe it's a French word. So if I was going to say niche, it'd be N-I-T-C-H. So if you want to say it niche, I don't mind, as long as you write N-I-T-C-H. And you have my permission to write N-I-T-C-H if you say it that way. But if you don't want to invent a word, I'm going to say niche. But that's a potato argument. That's an old fun one. But it is a thing. So whether it's niche, or niche, or niche, it'd almost be German, I suppose. It's a word to know, and it doesn't follow the rules no matter how you say it. Sugar, ben, it's not, bean. Learners will be confused by that. Albeit, Yosemite, lieutenant. Read and read, was. Why is he? Of, great, it should be greet. What in the world? That's good to know anyway. Although that's covered before, it's good to know. Greenwich, it's not Greenwich, it's Greenwich. Baloney. There's a university called that, the first one. Recipe, awry, guard, hair, mishap. It's not mishap. Caveat, christen, elite. It's not elite. Paradigm, not paradigm. Women and woman. It's the O that changes. This should be kind, hind, mind, find, but now wind and wind are spelled the same. What about the L? Well, it should be a hof, cough, be hof because of the AL, like all, or fall, or talk, walk. Stalk, but it's doesn't follow the rules. It's not breathe, dreed, or breathe. Well, this can be breathe or breath. It's not com, som, don, or dose. It's come, some, done, does, not chilled. That'd be a double L. Milled or willed. All those would be double L's. So there they are. Olive, not olive, live, or live. Give, or cursive, creative, or affirmative, correlative, offensive, adjective, sensitive. It's not. It's iv, olive, live, give, cursive, affirmative, correlative, offensive, adjective, sensitive. Good to know. Okay, that's the end of it. Now, don't spend a lot of time on these. The most important part, as I say, these more words section deserves some good time, this needs most. Because we're not going to teach all the phonics. We're going to teach the important ones to get moving. This could be all of them, I suppose. This might be more comprehensive, more thorough anyway. These are comprehensive or not, but this might be more thorough than many curricula that are out there. What's our time? Well, I think we're doing a little bit faster than the last time I took this and found I messed up. So read through this. It's just overview stuff. But the big thing is the first two sections need to be understood. Once, now listen to me, this is the important part. Once you've done the short and long words and the student can drill them and move on, and once the student knows how to say these words and knows the sounds that relate to them, technically you can move on, but it is good to read through that first, go through these 2 or 3 times, and then you can move on. The rest of this is for reference. But they do need to know TH makes a th and v sound, and here are different words. Familiarize them with that, and come back and point to this for reference. Now, I'm going to look at To Be or Not to Be. I've got some Shakespeare and other stuff on here for fun reading, just because it's such a great website, and it's nice to look at stuff this way. Now, here we are. Dot. This is book number 2. Phonics is first. See what we're doing here with the letters? They're still pink. See that? Okay, good. Very important. So read through it. It says up here at the top. Now, I didn't do or the, because they're not following phonics rules. That's just like a word all to itself. So here we are. We're taking the phonics and we're putting it into words. And we're only doing the long and short. We're only doing the simple stuff. We're going to get it. A lot of these words are familiar. They might some be new because we're doing stone soup. C dot, we're going to get into words. Oh, guess what? Everyone in the universe on my side of the world is on the internet right now. So there we go. Red highlights new words the first time they appear. If it doesn't or doesn't seem to make sense, don't freak out about it. Our goal is to draw attention. So, and I'm using different colors to try to set the mood, make it more memorable as to what we're reading. So here we are, C dot run, first word. This was actually the first of the dot stories I wrote. Wrote this one first. So there we go. The student should be able to read this through without many mistakes 4 days in a row. Not 4 times in a row. 4 days in a row. You should read, we're talking like within a week, 4 days in 1 week. And read it correctly 4 times, then you're ready to move on. That's how you know you're ready. And there we go. All right. So C dots, we're adding some more words, some more vocabulary, slightly longer, bigger words, more scary, but very repetitive. So we're just doing more of the same. Again, we're not teaching all of the words and patterns at a grade level. We're teaching some of the vocabulary words and patterns at the grade level. And then once they get the concept of those types of words, that level of difficulty of words, and that level of difficulty of patterns, we move on to the next level. We want them to get the first, in learning, first, someone must learn the concept, and then they can learn the content. They're 2 different teachings. So if you try to teach the content all at once without the concept, it's difficult. So we're trying to cover through the concepts very quickly so that the student will have the concept of all these reading levels. Dot and una. Okay. Thank you, internet companies, for being so slow. Dot and una. Again, yellow is more difficult to see, so I had it emphasize the words are the same. Dot is masculine, una is feminine for grammatical purposes, so that makes it, you do what you want. You can replace the words with what you like. You can replace it with what you like, or you can read them as they are. This is about 3 times longer than the other reads. I have been through myself with this. Should I change it? If I changed it, I would have to make it longer. It's very repetitive, so being 3 times longer, they might be able to read it the quickest because they'll just start going through it. This teaches verb patterns. People that say their verbs wrong have, went. My dad always said, Mom would always correct him. This will help, curb that. We want to get the proper speech patterns. Here they are. And I've been through this with myself. Does this really belong as a dot book? It does. This needs to be here. You've got to do book 5, 5th. You've got to do it, because if you move on without it, then we won't, the foundation won't be there. We got to have these. So it has some negatives. The one pattern this does not have is did not. And I've thought about adding that. In a future edition, I might. I'm thinking about it. But there are other tools for learning that also. But you can't learn, actually the way to do that, like some people in English, I need to find a negative. There's not. Dot. Stop sculpting head. I'm going to find not. Where is not? Okay, but now he is not. Dun, 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 dun. Dot is not sculpting. That is not drawing. Let's find a does not. This is not. This is why it's online. Not. Here we go. So we've got some does not. And these are very, so basically you'd say if he does, you say i.e. does not, you have to say did not. And that's how that's supposed to work. It's if you're going to say, you don't say I did not ate, because some people will make that decision if they don't have a good education. But I'm thinking about adding I did not eat. But you can, the thing is, this is not covering all material, it's covering a foundation. So you can use this as a base to teach other ideas. You can say, he does not like. If you say they do not like, then you wouldn't say you'd say did not like. See that? So like, that's a thing I could get into, but I'm trying to lay in the important patterns, and then you as the teacher, the parent, the mentor, the friend, whatever, when you see other problems, you can come back to this and refer to it. We're teaching patterns and concepts, not comprehensive material. So pardon for repeating myself. I've always, the 5th dot book, I always go back and forth with myself about whether I'm doing the right thing with what is and what is not in it. So I might make some changes. Tell me what you think. Really, I might come out with a 2nd edition at some time in the future. But it's, again, it's not trying to be comprehensive. This here, we're doing words and phrases. If it's not, well, that appeared first, but it wasn't green. Don't worry. We're trying to draw attention to the young reader without adding words and without using pictures that help them cheat and fake read. So there we go. We're doing green. We're at a higher level here, and the readings are progressing through our rainbow colors. Dotly dot, if you guessed and figured it out, dotly dot is about adjectives and adverbs. And so we're doing adjectives and adverb patterns, like typing well, dot types well, dots typing is good, dot is quick, dot types quickly, dots typing is quick. So we're putting patterns and using them correctly. And they don't always match. The turquoise blue color here is not a lexical meaning, but it draws important attention to things. It says, young beginning reader. How much? Isn't that an interesting phrase there? How much? Amount. Oh, amount. Oh, okay. Not too much. Not too little. Isn't that an interesting? Oh, okay. Just we're drawing attention. We're not teaching and thoroughly explaining all the complex ideas of adjectives and adverbs. We're demonstrating it correctly used, and we're drawing attention to new words and ideas along the way. That's what we're doing here. And that's stone soup. Keep it simple. Focus on concepts. So there's some new words here, some months. Dot by dot, 8. Blue shows patterns. Now we're going to do this one by one. We're going to snowball our small sentences into big ones. Drawing attention the first time something shows up. So, Dot works in his shop. Dot works every day. Dot works every day in his shop. Okay, here we got leather, wood, and metal. Every day in his shop with leather, wood, and metal. Here we got and. Here we got just one and. We got a longer sentence. We go through this. You get all the way done. You get to the end of this book. And I put the cities there. I wanted to put cities somewhere. So that was fun. You get to the end. We review. We go back and make long sentences again using those patterns. It might be a little bit different. That's the goal. That's the idea. Keep it changing. Well, I had a feeling it was a coin toss whether it was going to make me reload it. Study Dot, we're introducing an academic subject type of English, where we're putting some vocabulary at the beginning of a read. We're kind of getting familiar with important words that are going to be, these words will be in this reading. And we're using some scientific words that will show up. So the idea of using English to understand a subject of school and learning new words, we're doing that the first time. And we're going to do Earth and space. So they're kind of related, not too far apart, but this is an academic type of read in its basic English. So now they're using English for academic purposes. That's what this is about. So once they've done that, I mean, this is academia. Now, technically, academia is college. If you can use English to understand an academic subject, then now you've got the concept of English used even at the college level, not necessarily the complexity. But again, what we're doing with these in this series, in the Read Dot series, we'll go back here to the beginning and look at the books from the beginning. In the Read Dot series, we are going through the concepts. We're going through concepts. We're doing conceptual teaching. So each of these, I've shown you what's in these books here, and all of these are available in the collected, the complete series. These are smaller books. You can see the size online, I believe 5 by 7. This is twice the size, and it's a little less than half the cost. Altogether, it's about $95. I don't make a lot of money on these individual books. So whether you buy this series or this, I think I make it's about $10 either way you buy the full series. And the only reason I wanted to sell this for $35, but the only reason that I charge $10 more is so I could get expanded distribution, actually. So Amazon, the book's available in more places, and then I make like 91 cents off of those other places. But that's the complete series, and it's very useful. But again, feel free to use stuff online. Feel free to print it. Use the materials. The books are a very convenient, nice way for using all of this. But remember, it's very important that the same time that you're doing this, you're also doing the writing curriculum and the typing curriculum, and that's coming in the next video.